there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a what? What? A deck tech? We don't do deck techs over here at RantBuilder.com. We only do rants. Yes, I'm getting back to doing some deck techs now that I have more time. I'm going to try to do this as a Thursday series. I think Thursday's the day that I have some time to actually sit down and play some games. So this week I'm going to take a card off my top 10 list, which is the Fourth Bridge Prowler. And like I said in my top 10 list from A3 Revolt, I want to play this in Pauper. I think this is where this card really shines. It's super good against Stompy, it's really good against Delver, and it's decently good against things like Goblins and Affinity and whatnot. It is pretty much a dead card versus Dimir control or mono black control. There's not a lot of things you can kill with a -1/-1, but with Delver being the #1 deck by far, again, according to the MTGO stats now after the banning of the Drake, I think that this is well positioned to beat up on some Delver matchups. The thing is, Delver also struggles against other aggro decks, so Fourth Bridge Prowler is perfect for that because you need to establish a 1-drop versus Delver and then try to play kind of the tempo war, just push through Delver. Those particular decks seem to do the best. So decks like Goblins Burn, this is also going to have an insanely good matchup because we are running 4 Alms of the Vein and 4 Morsel Thefts, as well as the Night Market Lookout gaining some life, as well as the Dismal Backwater gaining some life. So I think this is pretty well positioned right now in the Pauper metagame. Spoiler alert, I do not play much Pauper, so we might just get completely destroyed. Wow, do we really have 6 Fourth Bridge Prowlers? Is that a mistake? No, okay, it's just... What is my... Let's reload this here. I guess the... Okay, that's better. I guess MTGO is just bugging out right now. It's looking at that, I'm like, why do I have 4 Fourth Bridge Prowlers? But it said it was legal, and now we're back to legal. Okay, so anyways... Let's go over some of the other 1-drops. I think Fairy Miscreant is the whole reason why we want to run blue, is Ninja's just so powerful. I think that we could go mono black. There's probably enough cards to go mono black, but I wanted another unblockable card for the whole reason to run Rogue, which is Morsel Theft. So I keep messing around with Rogues, of course, because Rogue is my jam. That's, Rogue deck builder, so why not build Rogue decks? Unfortunately, one of the coolest cards is going to be an uncommon for the Rogue, but we do have Morsel Theft, and Morsel Theft gains 3 life and draws a card, and it's just huge with the amount of life gain with this deck. We can keep up with the burn-based decks, and then so we did want a good discard outlet, and I think the best Rogue for that is Looter Ilkor. It has Shadow, so when it deals combat damage, you get a draw card, then discard a card. This will fill us back up, get rid of the excess lands. I think it's a fine choice. We'll wait and see if it's actually worthwhile. The Fairy Miscreant has a great synergy with the Ninja. It also is just one of the better 1-drops with Unblockable. We are going to pick at our opponent and then hopefully get it down to where they're in range of like what I call the burn package, and that's going to be between the Alms and the Morsel Thefts and the Tyrant's Choice. And then again, Pulse Tracker can swing in for 1, even if there is a card that can block it. So, and then Night Market Lookout is just like a better Pulse Tracker. So let's just look. I guess you could put like a Sky Sift in here or some other like a vehicle that could give a little bit of boost to a bunch of our 1-drops, like kind of upgrade the Fourth Bridge Prowler. But I'm not quite sure how good like Sky Sift is. It trades with Delver. I don't think there's another uncommon vehicle that is worthwhile to put in this. Maybe there is. Maybe like a Renegade. No, that has a crew 3. That doesn't have a crew 1, does it? The Renegade? The Renegade, what is that Renegade? Renegade Freighter? Has a crew 2. That wouldn't be terrible, but I think it's just, yeah, maybe it would be terrible. I'm not sure. We'll just stick with this list. Again, not a Pauper connoisseur. We'll have to wait and see how well I do. So Gruul draws vampires super good in this because it's a 1-drop that then becomes pretty easily a 3/2 with Intimidate. And Intimidate's fairly decent because there is a black deck, but the majority of the decks, again, Delver won't be able to block it. They do have an artifact creature in Delver, so keep that in mind. But I believe that, no, 3/2 will die to the 2/4 Affinity for Island artifact card. So then we have the Yeah, so Ninja just gets a lot of good synergy with both Fairy Miscreant as well as the Fourth Bridge Prowler. So you have like 8 relevant targets for Ninja. That is why I'm including it. So it's rinse and repeat with the Fourth Bridge Prowler. A lot of times the Pauper decks become this like attrition war, a lot of one for oneing, and this we definitely do need to keep up card advantage as some of our cards are one-shot cards that just do damage to gain life. So onto the sideboard, we are going to run 2 Dispels and 3 Mana Leaks. I'm going to put these in versus the control-based decks. Instead of going Counterspell, Counterspell is a little bit tough on our mana. Running a lot more Swamps than I am Islands, just because we want a first turn comes into play untapped Swamp for one of our 1-drops. The only comes into play untapped on turn number 1 that we need for blue is Fairy Miscreant, so 4 matching 4. I think that's the best way to do this. Still going to stick at 20 lands because we do want to be able to hardcast Alms. At least that's my justification. We'll have 2 Disfigures. This is particularly in here for the Delver matchup. We'll bring these in. Maybe take out like an Alms versus that match. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and play that. Tyrant's Choice is probably the card I'll take out against Delver and bring in the Disfigure. Macaw Waltz is definitely in here for the control matchups, as we can return 2 creature cards from our graveyard or hand, then discard a card. So we'll get some value out of Alms. Soul Reap is in versus for Stompy, destroy non-Stompy decks. Destroy target non-green creature its controller loses 3 life. You've cast another black spell this turn. I think it's a pretty decent card on turn number 3 when you throw down a one of these cards and then Soul Reap. I don't know. You can still just cast this for 2 and destroy a creature. So it's almost like a Doomblade, not instant speed. I've liked Soul Reap. I think it's a pretty decent card. And then Guess Verdict as well. This is Guess Verdict's in for the match for the Hexproof deck. So target player sacks a creature and loses a life. So not going to go like Vapor Snags. I think Guess Verdict's a little bit better. Again, we have all our bases covered. We're just trying to tempo out our opponent and put on the aggression, and then we have the kind of the range with the burn. Or the life loss card. So I'm going to queue this up in a Pauper, whatever we can do for Pauper. I haven't even researched it. And we'll have some games. And you get some gameplay on rantdeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.